We go out of our way to maintain our human relationships. If we miss a wedding, we send a gift. If someone is upset with us, we lose sleep trying to fix it. Yet when it comes to our relationship with the Creator, it often becomes a complete afterthought. This outward focus turns faith into a public performance. We become obsessed with appearances, walking around with pocket fatwas, ready to pull out quick judgments and condemn people based on tiny, out-of-context glimpses of their lives. The historical scholar Hassan al-Basri once encountered this exact trap. Walking by a riverbank, he saw a man sitting with a woman, an open bottle resting nearby. Instantly, the scholar's mind filled in the blanks, a sinner out drinking in public. Then, a boat on the river suddenly capsized. Without missing a beat, the presumed sinner plunges in. He fights the current, dragging one drowning passenger to the riverbank, then another and another. Breathless, shifting to calm, the man turns to the stunned scholar and asks for help saving the last passenger. He then clarifies the scene from earlier. The woman next to him was his mother. The bottle? Just vinegar. They were simply sitting by the water, feeding weary travelers. The scholar was left devastated by his own arrogance. His rush to condemn a stranger had blinded him entirely to the reality of the man's character. Humans actively hunt for flaws to condemn one another, but the Creator operates entirely differently, looking past the chaotic surface to find hidden reasons to show mercy. The Creator doesn't react with the pettiness we expect from people. In fact, God is actively waiting for humanity to turn back. The Prophet Muhammad once illustrated this with a parable about a traveler moving through a vast, inescapable desert. He stops to rest, falls asleep, and wakes up to find his camel, carrying all his food and water, completely gone. Stranded and exhausted from searching, the traveler lies back down in the sand, accepting that he is going to die. But when he opens his eyes one last time, his camel is miraculously standing right in front of him, provisions entirely intact. Imagine the sheer relief of that man getting his life back. Yet, the prophet explained that the Creator is infinitely happier when a lost human sincerely repents than that dying man was at finding his camel. This boundless forgiveness creates outcomes that defy human logic, like the historical account of a murderer and his victim who both end up in paradise. The victim enters through martyrdom, but the murderer joins him because he later felt profound remorse, changed his life entirely, and fell defending the innocent. When this impossible reconciliation happens, it triggers a specific motif in Islamic theology, the divine smile. It means God expresses immense divine pleasure at seeing a broken person find their way back. God is not an accountant aggressively tallying our mistakes. The Creator is actively looking for the slightest genuine movement toward the good. While public performance might win human approval, the Creator responds to a much quieter frequency, extreme, hidden sincerity. Once, the prophet asked his companions to host a weary traveler. A remarkably poor man volunteered and brought the guests to his home. Inside, his wife shared a grim reality. They only had enough food left to feed their own children, so they made the painful choice to put their kids to sleep hungry to spare the meal. But they couldn't just give the guest a tiny portion of food and sit watching him eat. So the wife walked over to the room's lamp and, under the guise of fixing it, intentionally extinguished the flame. In the pitch black, the husband and wife sat with their guest. They clinked their utensils against empty plates and moved their hands in the dark, pretending to eat so the traveler could finish the entire meal without feeling a shred of guilt. Nobody else in the city knew what happened, but the next morning, the prophet informed the man that God literally smiled at what he and his wife did in the dark the night before. The most profound acts of faith aren't broadcasted to the world. They are the deliberate sacrifices hidden entirely from the eyes of other humans. Realizing this level of divine mercy changes the internal mechanics of faith. The anxiety of transactional bookkeeping, doing good just to avoid punishment, gives way to ishq, a deep, unconditional love. After the conquest of Mecca, the prophet distributed massive amounts of material wealth, sheep and gold to the newly conquered Meccans. The original helpers from Medina, the Ansar, received nothing. Heartbroken, whispers spread through the narrow streets that the prophet had finally returned to his wealthy relatives and abandoned the humble people who had sheltered him. Hearing this, the Prophet gathered only the Ansar in a private tent. He didn't scold them. Instead, he validated their tears, acknowledging that they had opened their doors and fought for him when the rest of the world wanted him dead. Then he asked them a single question. He asked if they were truly upset that the Meccans were taking home flocks of sheep and bags of gold, while they were taking the messenger of God back to their homes in Medina. The Ansar broke down weeping. In that moment, the illusion of material wealth dissolved. They realized they didn't want the transactional rewards. They only wanted the relationship. Letting go of pocketed judgments and the habit of counting deeds like currency makes room for a hidden, sincere love, the final goal that makes the Creator smile.